Hi guys, I hope you're doing well. Welcome to my new project vlog, and if you can't already tell by my face, I'm so excited about this one. For the entire summer, I've been dreaming about making a sunset coloured sweater. I've seen a few pictures on Instagram that have really inspired me. They're sort of sweaters that are like an ombre of hot pinks and oranges. And the time has finally come where I've got no other projects in my queue and it's time to cast this one on. So I've had the yarn for like 4 or 5 months, and in the past month I've found the perfect pattern for this sweater. So I bought it today. It's sweater number 6 by My Favourite Things Knitwear. I have knitted a few patterns from My Favourite Things Knitwear before. I love their patterns. I find them really easy to follow. And this sweater is a really simple top-down raglan with I-cord edge details around the neckline and the cuffs and stuff. I really like the look of this pattern with the I-cord neckline. I think it's a little bit different from your usual sweater patterns with a ribbed collar, but still like very simple, very basic. Looks pretty easy to do. The pattern itself is, I think, only like 3 PDF pages long, so that kind of really bodes well for the simplicity of this. So for the yarn, I'm going with a lot of colours of Drops Brushed Alpaca Silk. I've used Drops Brushed Alpaca Silk before, using a single strand to make my summer cardigan that I made in yellow. That was the other My Favourite Things Knitwear pattern that I followed. I think it's actually the first video that I ever made on this channel, was the making of that cardigan. And I've been in love with the fibre ever since. That cardigan is completely non-itchy on my really sensitive skin. It's so soft and the colours are super vibrant. So I'm really excited to knit this with 2 strands for a bit of a thicker fabric. And also, right, I'm going to show you the colours now. You may have seen these before if you already follow my channel, but I have got a bunch of yarns to hold together with 2 strands and create an ombre effect. So I'm going to show you them all one by one and just give you this rundown of what I've got. I don't know if I'm going to use all of these, but I think it's better for me for this project to have more rather than less, so I can choose between which colours I want to like fade into the others. So a few of them, I've kept the tags on for now, but I have done the gauge swatch already, so it's a bit loose. I have only one of this colour number 22 here. This is like a sort of very desaturated brick red. I then have 2 and a bit, but I use this on another project that I'm going to unravel. So when I do that, I will have 3, but I don't think I will need 3 of this shade number 37. I think I remember that this one is called Sweet Apricot, and it's like this gorgeous peach. So these 2 I think go together really well, and these also match my colouring really well. So I think that these are going to be the colours that I start the sweater off with, so that like the bit of the sweater that's closest to my face really like ties in with like the colour of my skin and all that. Then I've got, I think 3 or maybe 2. Oh no, there's another one at the bottom. Of this shade number 29. This is like a bright, I think this is called Tangerine. Yeah, this really nice bright orange colour. Love this one. I think this doesn't really go with my skin tone at all. I really don't suit orange, but I think it will tie in with the rest of the colours really well, so I think I'm gonna have this be like a bit further down in the sweater. Then I've got 3 bowls of colour number 31, which is this gorgeous hot pink. I think if I weren't going to do like a proper gradient and I were just to do like a striped sweater, these 2 colours would really like encompass the vibe of what I want to do. But again, I think it looks better on me than the orange does, but still not like, you know, my perfect colours. So again, this is going to be like, I think maybe more on the sleeves and further down in the body. I have got 1 shade of this really nice darker pink. This is colour number 8, and I think this one suits me more than the other pink. But I've mainly got this as like a blending colour, that's why there's only 1 bowl of this. to blend the pink into like another colour. And then I also have the dregs of my last cardigan that I made. So I have this really nice butter yellow colour, colour number 30. I don't think I'll use this. I also have the gauge swatches, but it's here just in case I need it. I think it might fade well into the orange, but I don't know if that will be too many colours to mix together. And then lastly, this isn't drops brushed alpaca silk. This is just some random yarn that one of my friends got from me from a charity shop. She's got no idea of the brand or anything, and I think the charity shop owner just gave it her for free. It's this gorgeous, really light pink. I, again, don't know whether I'll use it, but it seems to be the same sort of composition and width as the drops brushed alpaca silk. Really, I've got no idea what it's made of. It might be acrylic. I don't know if acrylic can be this fluffy. Either way, the colour is gorgeous, and if I do bring these extra colours in, I think I will have to look, well, like when I'm halfway through, if I want to bring these extra colours in, but I have them just in case. And now I want to show you the gauge swatch, because this is, I did this today. It's still a little bit wet, but this is really what got me excited about this project, because I've been looking at all this yarn for a while and I couldn't really visualize how they would all blend into each other, but look at this. So it's still damp, which is why I'm holding it like it's hot. But this was done with 7mm needles, which is what the pattern recommends, and I am hitting gauge, thankfully. So yeah, here it is. These are, let's see if I can find the colours. So we start off with a blend of colour number 37 and colour number 22 at the top here, and then I carry on the colour number 22 and start to mix it with colour number 8 here, and then with the hot pink, that's colour number 8 mixed with, what's this one? Colour 31 in this bright section. And then I continue colour number 31, move back onto colour 37, which is the same as at the top here, and then I bring in the colour number 29, colour number 37 here at the bottom. So not only was this a gauge swatch, but it's a good indicator of what the colours will look like when they're held together. And yeah, I love them. You can see that at the start I just sort of did row by row, and that's why there is a bit more of an obvious line in this bit of the swatch, but then I realised that it wasn't blending together that well. So for the subsequent colour changes, I did a row where I was like alternating the stitches. So I was holding all three colours together, and then I was doing like one stitch of that one, one stitch of that one, one stitch of that one. So I got like an alternating row before just continuing on with the new two colours. I'm going to knit this up in a size small, which is the size recommended by the pattern for my measurements. And I'm going to challenge myself to get this sweater done as quickly as I can. Not because like I want to rush through it or anything, but I haven't been obsessively knitting on anything for over a month. Like I have been knitting quite a lot, but I haven't really thrown myself into a project. And even just like looking at the gauge swatch, like I really didn't want to finish this. Like I just wanted to keep going and look at all the beautiful colours and see how they change into each other. And especially with these 7mm needles, I haven't knit anything on such large needles in a very long time. And also I am just so excited to have this as a finished garment to wear for the upcoming autumn. So with that, I think it's time to cast on. Day one got off to a good start because it was warm enough for me to sit outside in only a t-shirt, and I think this is probably one of the last days of the year where I'm going to be able to do that and not be freezing, so I made the most of it. I took a little break to make myself a snack. This masala chai is absolutely unreal. I get it from the big Morrison's supermarkets, and you just need to add water to the powder. It's so delicious. It's like warming and a little bit spicy. And then my favourite snack that I'm having at the moment are crumpets with butter and gochujang paste. I don't want to say that it's like Marmite, but I think that if you like Marmite, you would enjoy this a lot. And I put them on my hand-painted plate that I painted on my birthday last year. I ended up moving back inside because I wanted to catch up on some of my favourite knitting YouTubers. Here I'm watching Any Knit's newest podcast and enjoying my crumpets. Just, oh, look at it. It makes me want another one now. After about an hour and a half, I'd completed my German short rows. Then, after a little bit more knitting, I decided it was time for me to switch colours. Now, this was actually a pretty lengthy process, and it took me a long time to do the row of one stitch of the old colour scheme and one stitch of the new colour scheme. It was very fiddly and very tricky, but I think it was worth it. At the end of the day, my favourite TV show was on, so I watched it live, which I never ever do. This is Mortimer and Whitehouse's Gone Fishing, and I absolutely adore them. Okay, it's now the end of day one, and this is where I have got up to today. So I started off with just a basic cast on, and I did some German short row shaping on the back, and now I'm just working on the raglan increases, and I'm about halfway through the raglan increases. I did find the German short row shaping a little bit more confusing, maybe not confusing, but difficult than it should have been, because when you're doing wrong side rows, for half of it you're just knitting along, purling along, and then on the other half you're doing the raglan increasing purl wise, and I'm not that good at like make one right and make one left purl wise yet, so I've got like a little bit of holiness at the top there, which I don't care about enough to fix. Like, I could have fixed it, but this is only, I think this is probably going to be my 4th ever sweater that I've knitted. The yarn is great. I'm really enjoying the knitting process. It's not at all painful on my hands, which is great. This is also my first time using my Drops interchangeable needle set, and yeah, they're great as well, although I do wish that the set came with some 40cm cables, because it doesn't, and I'm kind of dreading doing the sleeves with like the magic loop instead of just some shorties, because I'm not that good at magic loop yet either. I'm really happy with how the German short rows ended up looking, especially because like for the first 2 goes of it I completely forgot to do the whole like wrap and turn thing, but you can't really notice it at all, so that's fine. Especially I think because this yarn is so fluffy and fuzzy, it's very forgiving with my tension and that sort of thing, and I imagine it'll be even more so when it's blocked. So far I've been adhering to the same colour scheme as my gauge swatch. I've also learned the actual names of the colours as well as just the numbers. So at the top here, I think this is Sweet Apricot and Pale Rust, and then now we're moving into Pale Rust with Cerise, or no, Heather, Pale Rust with Heather. And pretty soon I'm going to do Heather with Hot Pink here. And yeah, I think this is pretty good going for day one. The next day I had to go to Glasgow in the morning, so I managed to get a pretty hefty chunk of knitting done on the train. For lunch, I went to Viet Fresh, which is a Vietnamese place right next to Glasgow Central Station. I always walk past this place and I wanted to try it for the longest time. I got the vegetarian banh mi with tofu and it was so good. It actually tasted exactly like the ones I had in Vietnam. I was there almost exactly a year ago, so it was a lovely throwback. Then I did some more knitting on the train home. I actually ran out the Cerise spool of yarn way quicker than I was expecting, so I didn't even manage to do a full blending row, but because I went straight into 2 strands of the hot pink, I think it's not as noticeable as it would be for other rows. And here, if you can even believe it, I am already putting the sleeve stitches on hold. I can't believe I went through the raglan increases that quickly, but I guess that's what a long commute does for you. So it's the end of day 2, and look at this. How's that for progress? I knew that this would knit up quickly, but I'm kind of astonished at how quickly it's gone. I find it just so addicting, especially with all the beautiful colour changes. So yeah, I've I've put the sleeve stitches on hold, and I'm now knitting the body I think I've got about 20 more centimeters to go for the body length. And for colors, today I finished 2 bowls of yarn. I finished the bowl of the cerise, the darker pink, and 1 bowl of the hot pink as well. So I did the cerise and the hot pink here, and then I moved on to 2 strands of the hot pink, and now I'm just starting to work the hot pink and the tangerine together. I'm thinking I'm gonna bring in this light peach colour again as soon as possible, because right now it looks like it's going from like very earthy tones down to like neons, and I want to avoid that by like throwing in like the earthy tones a bit later on as well. I have also saved a little bit of the pale rust colour for me to use for the I-cord neckline, so I might do that fairly soon and then finish off the bowl of the pale rust. And yeah, I haven't really, because it's just such a basic construction, I've barely referenced the pattern. It's simple and clear to follow. I've got nothing bad to say about it. And I think I'm about 1.5 pages through the 3 pages. After 48 hours, I've been knitting a few fingering weight projects in a row. So this is just baffles me that changing the needle size just by a few millimeters can have this sort of effect. And yeah, let's see what comes of day 3. Today was a super big travel day. I was on buses and boats and trains, and I think overall I spent about 4.5 hours on various modes of public transport. This is kind of a regular occurrence for me, and it's why I'm so glad I have knitting in my life, because I really find peace just being on a half-empty train with my knitting and like some form of entertainment. Usually I watch YouTube videos, but recently I've been getting back into audiobooks. I'm currently listening to the Broken Earth trilogy by N.K. Jemisin. I bought the first book like 6 months ago and started listening to it then, but I'd listened to it in small bursts and not pay full attention, and I really didn't enjoy it. I didn't know what was going on at all, and I kind of gave up on it. But about a week ago, I revisited it. I read the Wikipedia plot page up until the point where I'd gotten, and then started listening again with my full attention. And to my surprise, it's really gripped me. I finished the first book today, and I immediately bought and started listening to the second one. They're definitely in the fantasy genre, but more like Lord of the Rings fantasy than book talk book fantasy. End of day 3 check-in. This is what we've got. I've got basically a full body. It ends with an I-cord edge, and it's already 10:30, so I know if I start the I-cord edge I'm just going to be up till midnight because I want to finish it, so I'm going to leave that till tomorrow just so I get a good night's sleep. And yeah, I don't think I did nearly as much as yesterday. It doesn't feel like as much, but I guess the body is quite wide. The knitting in the round does take a while. So where was I up to yesterday? I think just about here. So I've knitted about this much. I did the hot pink and the tangerine. Then I went back with the peach colour. What was that called? Sweet apricot and the tangerine. And now I'm moving on to doing 2 strands of the tangerine, which is the colour strands that I'll finish on. The only yarn I used up today was 1 bowl of the tangerine. So far I've finished 3 bowls of yarn, and yeah, it's looking pretty big, but it's also very nice and drapey. So I think it's going to be a nice oversized feel. I still haven't tried this on for the first time. I think I might as well just wait till the I-cord bind off is done. Although, yeah, I mean, I can tell by the length that this is going to be around about the right length, and this is gonna stretch a little bit with blocking, so it's gonna be a little bit longer. And yeah, I really don't have much to say about the pattern because all I've been doing is knitting stockinette in the round, so completely mindless knitting today. And tomorrow we're gonna start on the sleeves. Yikes! I started on the I-cord edge basically as soon as I rolled out of bed. I forgot how long these take. I knew it would take a while, but I think this took me over an hour just to do the hemline, And then I was kind of on a roll, so I was like, oh, I'll just do the collar while I'm at it, which I think took another hour. Here's the first try on. I think it's a very good length, but I was looking at this and I was thinking, oh, something's a bit off about it. I think it looks a bit stripy. So I started on the sleeves and I was thinking about it, and then I was like, well, this is something I could probably fix, so why am I sitting here being unhappy about it if I can fix it? So I did a bit of an experiment to see if I could use duplicate stitch to soften the lines between the colour changes, and it had the desired effect. I think it worked quite well at blending everything together. So I put this on hold because it's quite a lengthy task and I wanted to finish the sleeves first before I continued. It was a gorgeous evening, so it only seemed fitting for me to go take my sunset inspired sweater to go watch a sunset while I continued to work on the sleeves. I usually struggle with sleeves because I end up getting holes at the underarms when I pick up stitches, but someone in my comments suggested a new technique. I tried it out. It's where you just pick up about twice as many stitches as the pattern recommends and then knit 2 together in your first row, and it worked really, really well. This was such a beautiful walk, and I'm glad I got to come here once more before winter. As I only have a motorbike, I'm very aware that it's a summer vehicle and I'm probably not going to get to use it and come to these places once the cold weather hits. I'm so very grateful for such a mild autumn. It's currently the 2nd of October and it's 14 degrees and sunny. Normally autumn is a lot more harsh than this. And I think especially because this year I fell in love with my country a lot more, a lot deeper, I think as a direct consequence of getting my motorbike and getting out there and going and seeing it. But it makes me want winter to come even less because the cold and the dark drives me inside, which is where I really don't want to be. I want to be out here all the time. So getting to have an extra month or 2 of the sun and the warmth is absolute bliss. A lot more than I could ask for and expect. It's also my birthday in 4 days, on the 6th, and I'm thinking if I keep going at the rate that I'm going with this sweater, maybe it will be blocked and dried in time to wear on my birthday, and it can be my birthday outfit. I'm turning 27 and I'm really excited for it. I thought as I got older I'd get less happy every birthday to celebrate age and growth, but I felt I've done so much growth in the past year that I feel like I've already been 27 for like 4, 5, 6 months. I feel like I've done a lot more than a year of growth in the past year, and I'm excited to get older. I'm so much happier than I used to be, and it seems like it's a linear progression. At that point, a seagull flew so close to me that the flap of its wings knocked my tripod over, so I took that as a sign to shut up and just knit and enjoy the beautiful sunset. And I was absolutely starving when I got home, so I made a very quick but great dinner. I made tabbouleh, I fried up some seitan, homemade hummus, homemade tzatziki, and baked courgettes and Brussels sprouts. This was so good. My compliments to the chef, but the chef is me. Welcome to the end of day 4. This is what we have got. So I've got a finished body with an I-cord hem at the bottom, a gorgeous I-cord collar that I'm really happy with, and the majority of a sleeve. Now the sleeves are actually done with no decrease rows, so I'm using my 60 centimeter needles with no problem. I'm not having to do like magic loop or anything, I can just knit in the round with them. And I've gone for a slightly different colour scheme than the body. I've done the 2 strands of the hot pink, then I've gone into 1 strand of the hot pink with the sweet apricot, and then I've just started on the sweet apricot with the tangerine at the bottom. I've taken a lot more care with the blending rows for the sleeve because after the body was finished, I realised I didn't really like how stripy it was looking. So I have started doing some duplicate stitch here on the first bit. I haven't done enough of it for it to not look bad. I'm going to go back in and do some more and hopefully that will blend out this line, because I think especially where the raglan is, like there's this big square that I want to just blend out a little bit, and then do the same for the rest of it if I can be bothered, that is. I really think that the only bit that really needs to stand out a bit less is the collar. So yeah, I'm doing like 5 or 6 blending rows for the sleeve, which maybe I should have been doing the whole time, but lessons learned, and I still think everything looks quite good. So yeah, there's that. Yarn update. I haven't finished any balls of yarn today, but I am kind of running low. So I'll show you what I've got, not including the yellow yarn and that random light pink yarn. This is all I've got left of the hot pink, which is very, very low. We're dangerously close to running out. I also don't have that much left of the tangerine. This is all that's left of the pale rust. I'm going to keep this to do some more duplicate stitch blending. And then for the, what is it, the sweet apricot? I keep wanting to call it peach. We've got this much, plus the stuff that I haven't yet frogged from that other project. So the peach is what I have the most of. And maybe realistically, I should be just keep going with the peach so that I don't run out of yarn, because this pink is gonna have to go on the start of this sleeve. But I think this should be enough orange to get me through. I think I might want to end this sleeve with like the same as the body, so 2 strands of the orange one held together. But I'm not sure if I should do like another colour before I blend into that one. No, probably not. I'll probably just go straight from this into the 2 strands of orange, because I think I'm going to make the sleeves quite a bit shorter than the pattern suggests, because I think that this will stretch out, and I really don't like it when my sleeves are too long. And yeah, it's like 11 o'clock at night, so I'm gonna go to bed. Weirdly, my hands still don't hurt, like, at all. That's why I've been going so much. Like, I will stop as soon as my body tells me to. My body isn't telling me to yet. What do we think of this? Okay, it's time for me to go to bed. Day 5 and we are right back in it bright and early. Today I'm wearing my newest finished knit, which is also a sweater. This is the Little Lies sweater from Wool and the Gang, and I love it. It's become a staple piece. I got potato scone roll, which was very important for me to show. And here I'm finishing off one of the sleeves, but I completely forgot to do the decrease rows, so I had to do it all over again. But yeah, then I was on to the second sleeve. Day 5, baby! 5 days to a full sweater. Isn't that mad? I've never completed a project so quickly before. This is so much faster than I usually knit. This is nowhere near my average. So today I finished off this sleeve with a little I-cord edge and banged out the second one as well. I actually was running so low on yarn that my sleeves are completely mismatched. There's a lot more pink on this one, and I had to stop the pink pretty quickly because I was running out. And I actually ended this one in 2 strands of the peach because that was the only yarn that I had left. But I think I quite like how they look. I like the slightly different colours. And again, I did some much better blending on this. I also went in with a little bit more duplicate stitch to try and even out this line at the top here, which I think I like. It's not, it looks good from far away. I think I might go in with just some more of the rust because this peach is making these stitches stand out an awful lot. So I might just go in with the rust and like cover up how peachy that looks. And then tomorrow I'm just gonna do like a little bit on the other stripes as well. But I really don't have that much yarn left, so there's only so much I can do. So this is all that I have left of the pink. This is all I have left of the orange. This is all I have left of the peach and the pale rust as well. So I think I got my quantities kind of bang on, especially because I made the sleeves, I think about 7 inches shorter. No, not inches, centimeters shorter than the pattern. But yeah, it's midnight and I feel like I'm not being very coherent. So I'm gonna block this, do a bit more duplicate stitch tomorrow, and then I will show you the finished product. Here she is, washed and blocked, and it's very slouchy, the post-blocking finish. The arms are on the cusp of being too long, even though I made them 7 centimeters shorter. They hit sort of, yeah, just halfway down my hands, which really adds to like the very slouchy, comfortable vibe of it. I think I have done a lot more duplicate stitching since the last time you've seen this, and it's made me feel a lot better about how stripy the look is. So I think, what do I want to talk about? The pattern, the yarn and the colour. So the pattern, really very few complaints. I think the one thing I will say is that in the pattern it says that the jumper is shorter, that the length of the body is not very long, and I kind of assumed that that meant cropped, but it just doesn't. And I'm average height, I'm 165 centimeters, and even pre-blocking you can see that the length is sort of a pretty normal jumper length, I would say. Like, unless you're used to jumpers like fully covering your hips, I don't think that this is a shorter length at all. Though I guess it really depends on your height, doesn't it? Other than that, I think the pattern is so easy to follow. Really easy construction. I think if you've never knitted a sweater before, this could be a very good one to start off with, especially because of the thicker wool. It means that it's a faster project than a DK white sweater, which was my first sweater and it took forever. I really love the I-cord details. I think the bottom could do with a few more decreases before the I-cord edge. Although I do like the slouchy look, with the big slouchy sleeves it does make sense, but I think if it were a little bit more nipped in on the body, it would give a slightly different look that I would prefer a little bit, but that's again personal preference. For the yarn, as you can see, like, it has stretch with blocking massively on the sleeves, as I thought it would, knew it would, and accounted for. I think if I were to choose my ideal length for a sweater, it would be a little bit shorter than this, but I'm happy with it. I'm not gonna like undo it and make it shorter or anything. Super soft, really nice, easy to work with. I think the materials for this, I think it was like £2.50 a ball, and I wonder how many balls I used in total. Like, I'm not missing out any balls. I think this took 10 and a bit balls of yarn for me to make a size small. So I think that would put me at about a £25. I can't remember exactly how much each ball of yarn is. I think it's £2.50. I'm gonna say £2.50 and that this project cost me £25 to make, which is incredible. I also used my drops interchangeable needles for the first time. No complaints about those. Didn't need the 40 centimeter cable, so they were really good. They were a really cheap interchangeable needle set. I thought was a bit scared about how well good they would be because of the price, but yeah, big thumbs up from me. If you're looking for interchangeable needles that don't cost the earth, I think they cost like £25 total. And then lastly, I want to talk about the colour. If I were to make a version 2, I don't think that I would do it exactly the same as this version. I am happy with it. I think I will wear it, and it's definitely scratched that itch that I had to make something of this vibe. But I think that I got a bit carried away with choosing my colours. If I were to do this again, I think I would focus more on basically these 3 colours, the hot pink, the tangerine and the sweet apricot, and maybe miss out the darker pink, and certainly not go. This is like one of the lightest shades, and it goes straight into one of the darkest shades. If I were to give advice on how to make another one of these, I think I would advise to choose one colour as like the base colour and always have one strand to be of that base colour. I think personally I would choose like the Sweet Apricot here, but if you want a more neon one, then probably one of these colours, and carry that through and bring in like, I don't know, 2 or 3 other colours. And then I also, I don't know, I do kind of like the mismatched sleeves. I don't think I would advise to redo that. Maybe I would say like, yeah, do the sleeves a bit mismatched. And then also I would say like to do more than one blending row. But yeah, here she is. Here's the finished product. 5 days. That certainly isn't my average. Please do not, like, I don't want anyone to go, wow, I don't knit at all. Look at her, she knits loads. I'm probably going to take like a week off, like not touch any needles. And I normally knit like maybe 1 or 2 hours a day. And for these past 5 days, I was maybe knitting like 6, 7 hours a day. So yeah, listen to your body. Don't aim for that as like a normal goal for sure. But yeah, knitting completed it, mate. Easy peasy. Thank you so much for watching this. I hope it was yeah, entertaining, fun. I hope you like what I made, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.